All right, we are live. Hello, Knockout Nation. You're watching Knockout TV show, and I'm your host, Noel Clubb. Welcome to Spanglish Sports World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app from respective iOS and Android app stores, as the app is absolutely free. And while you download, oh, guys, there? Real good. There we go. Good. All right. Here we go. Carry on again. So once you download, please make sure to rate and leave us a comment because we want to hear from you folks. We sure do. And Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks. Roku and Roku sticks are also available on all smart TVs from 2016 forward. Well, thank you to the viewers watching Knockout TV show around the world. Thank you as always for joining us. Alrighty, so here we go, folks. Introducing first today is Knockout Panel. First off, he's a very insightful boxing predictor and analyst who is live from New York City. Please welcome the one and the only, the boxing prophet, Mr. Richard Solomon, to the show. Welcome, Richard. Or sorry, say,
guys. So the square, everyone's face keeps on alternating and going in different directions.
I see that too.
I feel like I'm on an episode of Hollywood Squares today.
It's kind of psychedelic too. Yeah, I hear you. It's just kind of rotating.
But yes, when last we spoke, Noel, let me just say it's always a pleasure, to be on the Knockout TV show, the greatest TV show about boxing in the country on this planet.
Right on.
And last time we spoke, I was going to go in for a shave on Mother's Day.
Yeah, so what happened?
Yes, and apparently that didn't happen because my nephews kept on giving me peer pressure. Our Rangers and our Knicks are doing so well, and you can't shave until we win a championship. I'm happy to say a couple of days ago, the Rangers eliminated the Carolina Hurricanes in thrilling fashion, down 3-1. They scored 4 unanswered goals in the third period to win 5-3, and they're on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 Wednesday night against the Florida Panthers. And as we speak, the Knicks are battling their longtime rival Indiana Pacers in a Sunday Game 7 matinee. It's on right now. So for all you basketball fans watching this boxing show, no spoilers because I'm taping the game on my DVR. And I got to be honest with you, win or lose, I would be happy to have both teams in the Eastern Conference Finals. Right. But I'm not greedy. I'll, in a perfect world, both of them, the Knicks win too. But I'm not greedy. I have to say that I'm going to break the news to my nephew. This beard is just, I love doing my Charlton Heston Moses impersonation from the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
But this beard is getting a little itchy. It's getting a little out of control. So, but before Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals starts, hopefully I'll get a shave Wednesday and Thursday. And whenever we do the next Knockout TV show episode, I'll be clean shaven, which is good for you, Noel, because I know for a fact that a lot of ladies out there, the Knockout TV show have a huge crush on the boxing prophet when he's well groomed.
There you go. Good motivation.
So, a handsome boxing prophet equals ratings.
That's right. Very high ratings too, by the way. Very high ratings.
Record. We're talking
the female audience escalate well beyond belief. Yes.
We're talking Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao numbers.
Exactly. Probably higher. Probably even higher. Yes, I think even higher than that actually.
But before we start boxing and you introduce all the other members of the esteemed panel today, let me just say, let's go Knicks.
I used to have names.
Very good. Let's go Knicks. Right on. Coming Richard over there in New York. Well said. Well put. Well, hey, moving on this cool panel here today. So next up, he is a humble Canadian boxing treasure. That he is. He sure is, folks. 6 provincial titles in the province of Ontario. 8-time Canadian champion. Won the bronze medal in the 86 Commonwealth Games. In the quarterfinals and 86 World Championships. All right, folks, please welcome live from Victoria Harbour, Ontario, Mr. Steve Beaupre to the show. Welcome, Steve.
Great to be here on the TV Knockout show. Just plugging away. I'm waiting for later today for the NASCAR race. I'm into NASCAR.
Right, yeah, you're a NASCAR guy.
What your kids get you into. I'm into NASCAR, and actually we boxed at the race that they're racing today at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We bought, I guess, the motor Bruden Smith was into boxing.
Yeah.
We drove all the way down from Sault Ste. Marie and Sudbury because Sault Ste. Marie and Sudbury team went down. We fought at Lowe's Motor Speedway at the time. It was Charlotte, and then it changed to Charlotte Motor Speedway, but it was Lowe's Motor Speedway, and we fought. We fought a team from Fort Bragg, Indiana. They flew them down, I guess. And I didn't fight a guy from Fort Bragg. I fought a guy from South Carolina. He's South Carolina champion, and I beat him. It was good.
Very cool. What year is that, by the way? What year is that?
5 in Charlotte against the team from Fort Bragg. So
was that the 80s when it happened?
Yeah, the 80s, 1980 or 1980.
Very cool.
Or 81. Sorry, it was because I was Canadian intermediate champion at the time.
Gotcha. 81.
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a wower. It's just whole record's a wower.
1981. I got the plaque to show.
Yeah.
And I started boxing in 82.
There you go. Very cool.
I started in 75.
Really? Yeah. I was 10.
You're 10.
Yeah.
Very good. Ray, how old are you? You still got to go into boxing.
Oh, I got into the sport in 90. I had my first fight in 90. I was 25 on the day before my 25th birthday.
Very cool.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah.
25, you accomplished a lot. You know,
no kidding, right?
normally that's old to start boxing. Back in the day, that would have been old, but
correct.
The things that you accomplished, man, off the grid.
No kidding. Yeah, that's why you guys on the show, because all you guys are very special. That's why you're on the show. So freaking awesome, I gotta say, so freaking awesome. Wait, moving on, because whole intro underway, right? Get it underway, so we can start talking some more boxing here. So next up, he is a former CPBC Canadian professional heavyweight boxer, champion, that is, folks. He's also been starred in several movies such as Resident Evil, Afterlife, Retribution, also the movie Phantom Punch. He's a longtime Canadian boxer, a longtime veteran for the country here, folks. Fought and trained against some of the best around the world in the sport of boxing. And of course, I'm a longtime friend here to me in the show for a long, long time. So please welcome Mr. Raymond Olubowale to the show. Welcome, Raymond.
Thank you. Kind. Pleasure to be here.
See ya. Yeah. Long overdue.
Pleasure to be here. Say the least.
So what's new?
No, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with the longevity of the show. You're still kicking.
And growing.
Yeah.
So many of these podcasts have they went the way of the dodo, but like congratulations.
Yeah.
Some serious teeth in your product here, man. Congrats.
I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I have to really thank Hulu. Hulu actually kind of picked up our show a little while ago, and it's been nothing but this really, like, the views have gone really through the roof for us. We never had this kind of numbers before, so really thanking to Hulu actually for us has been the really big contributor for us to expand and grow the show so much more. So yeah, thanks, Raymond. Really appreciate it very much, man. Very much so, because probably also have you guys here on the show trying to make our boxing community smaller here on the show. Talking about, of course, the news of boxing, of course, your insights and perspectives too. But yeah, it's really cool to have you back on the show, man. Long overdue, eh? All right, moving on. This cool panel for our running time here on the show. So next up is a Canadian former professional heavyweight boxer out of North Preston, Nova Scotia. He challenged for the WBA heavyweight title back in 2002. Always a pleasure having him back here on the show as well. Please welcome Kirk Chiron Johnson to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, as always, to see you guys.
Right,
Prophet, I'm waiting to hear what you're gonna say about last night. But yeah, I'm waiting for see what all you guys got to say about last night, because man, I just said it's gonna be very, very hard for Fury, because I just looked at the Holyfield situation. He was a small heavyweight coming up, and one thing about it, he was just as strong as everybody.
Yeah,
but he can move better than everybody. And you know what? The guys that when I spar with guys that punch big, I was okay. Like when I spar with Ike Ibuchi, we sparred for like 2.5 years. There was never a time that he ever hurt me because I guess I could see his punches come and my body could get ready for it. But you know when I got hurt? When I sparred with the small guys, like the cruiserweights and the light heavyweights, next minute I know I'm getting hit and did a little dance because I couldn't time the punch coming. And I just knew. Somebody told me, said, well, he can't hurt Tyson Fury. I said, man, listen, he's compact and he's a small guy. Tyson Fury body won't be able to time that punch coming. And sure enough, look what happened.
Yeah. So. Well, hey, it was a good call there, man. Good call. Because actually, overall on the show, for myself, I kind of thought, depending on what Fury show up that night. But as we all seen, it was interesting fight, I got to say. So moving on here. So Tyson Fury suffered a split decision defeat against Alexander Usyk in a dramatic night in Saudi Arabia last night. It was Saturday, May 18th. So this was the first 4-belt undisputed heavyweight. Going back here. Usyk is the first 4-belt undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And of course, Usyk takes the WC belt from Fury as of last night to add to his WA, WO, and IBF belt collection he currently has already. All right, the judges did score this heavyweight match showdown 115 to 112 and 114 to 113 for Usyk. Well, the third judge did score the fight. Did score the matchup as being 114 to 113 for Fury. So, Knockout Panda, what are your thoughts? What are your insights? What's your perspectives? Over to Kirk first. He's so anxious here.
Well, I looked anxious, but I'm not really anxious because you know what? The fight came on 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
It came on early, and I was waiting for the fight at 11:30 my time. You know what I'm saying? So I missed the fight. The reason why I knew the fight was going on because I looked on Instagram and it was showing Tyson Fury up against the rope falling or whatever. And then my buddy called me and said, man, the fight's on and Tyson Fury lost by a split decision or whatever. I said, no, this can't be real. But going into the fight, everybody said, Kirk, what's your opinion? I said, I want Tyson Fury to win because he's a true heavyweight and I want the heavyweights to stay heavyweights or whatever. But I said, is he going to win? I said, man, it's going to be super hard. I said, because even though Usyk fights different than Holyfield, one thing about it, he's in great condition. And the smaller guys can do way more than the bigger guys physically around the ring, move around, throw more punches, and probably recover stamina-wise quicker. So I said, you know what? Unless Tyson catch him with something clean and hurt him bad, man, it's a fight that I can. If Tyson lose, I said I won't be surprised at all. But my heart was with Tyson, but my mind was saying, I don't want to say it was impossible for him to win, but my mind was saying, man, he might not win because of the style.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah. I actually thought it would be a 50-50 chance it could go really either way myself going into this matchup.
I was kind of leaning towards Usyk. I can't lie.
Gotcha. Well, good prediction, man.
But my heart was with Tyson because I want the heavyweights to stay heavyweights, right? You know what I mean? So
yeah, gotcha. Hey, over to Ray. What's your thoughts and insights, perspectives on Usyk's fight against Fury?
I'm actually, I guess I'd be the opposite of Kirk because I thought that this simply because he's bigger and Tyson fight, he's taken on a strategy of just mauling you and tiring you out and tiring you out. And it's proven very successful. Like against who's what you call it? The Otto Wallen.
Okay. Wallen.
Even necessary because he can outbox these guys easy, but he's just seems since he saw the success he had with Deontay with that, he's been using it. And he even said it when apparently he was supposed to fight Joe Joyce, and they're like what you call it? They were bigging up the whole Joe Joyce fight. I don't have time for that right now. I got I deal with this, and I'm just gonna squash him. I'm gonna squash him. I'm like, okay. All you had to do is watch any of his fights. Usyk must have known that he's going to try. so he's going to run. But the thing is, I just didn't see. I wasn't sure for other reasons, because I personally with Tyson.
Yeah.
But I wanted to use it. I couldn't see how he was going to get by the mauling. And the mauling didn't happen.
Right.
He barely ever like grappled him or anything.
Yeah.
No, box him, which I didn't think that was a very smart idea. He's technical. He had his hands up the whole fight, and he's moving his head. He made it pushing the pace of the fight. He was backing him up.
Yes.
And Tyson up against the ropes, and he just quickly throw a shovel. It's like, man, you have no balls. He need to beat Usyk. Implemented was they would have fought Usyk, not
right.
fought, and outpower him and bat him around and whatnot. And maybe the course of the fight, you would weather him out and take him out. Boxing him,
right?
Picking shots. I ain't doing it. He saw this. He saw why the connect rate was so low.
Yeah, it was. And that straight cross from Usyk was mostly overhand from Usyk left hand. That is was landing quite a lot.
Usyk is like he's just absolutely brilliant with his from the southpaw stand. He knows how to get inside. Yeah. He gets inside on your jab. He'll poke you in your nose. He caught him with a couple under overs, and I'm just like, he dictated the contest, not the other way around, not the bigger man. And I'm just like, man, Ty is gonna kick himself. that tape, he's gonna kick himself.
Yeah,
a lot.
I agree.
For sure.
I agree. The great George Ben. 1 second. The great George Ben. He would have said, "Go beat him up, beat his arms up, hit him on the arms, hit him in the back, hit him in the shoulder, hit him in the back, hit him in the shoulder. Yep. Don't even look for his head too much. Just jab, wing on his back, his shoulders, arms. By time 5 or 6 rounds up, his arms beat up, his shoulders beat up, his back beat up. Put him in a fight because when it gets down to it, if I'm bigger than you, if you and I are fighting, and because I'm so bigger than you, first and foremost, I'm gonna get hit because Tyson got hit anyway, right?
Yeah.
So why would he try to be a boxer? Because he already got hit. Guess what? He should have put him in a real fight and I'm gonna get hit and you get hit. And I guarantee if he would have got hit, he wouldn't have took it as good as Tyson took it. But like you said, Tyson did not put him in a real fight. I guarantee that when they fight again, it's gonna be a fight.
Yeah, it's true. It's a 2-fight
deal. It has to be a fight.
You're right. It has to be a fight. Yes.
Yeah.
He ain't win no boxing match.
Yeah, right on. Well said as always, guys. Well said. That's why you're on the show, eh? Great perspectives. Always. Over to Steve.
And those first 3 rounds were critical. Usyk set the tone, backed him up. Yeah. You're fighting a southpaw. No right hands, no left hooks. None whatsoever from Fury to Fury. I couldn't see it all night. Right? What the heck? And he just set the tone in those first 3 rounds. You watch the first 3 rounds, and that's the fight right there. So I was like, yes, he's doing it, right? I can't believe he's doing it against a bigger fighter, stronger.
Really? Yeah.
Bigger. How can you do that? How can you set the tone of a fight like that? Back this big guy up, and I couldn't believe it. The first three rounds were I was like, what am I watching here?
The same mistake that
who was it? Who was it?
Joshua made
for Fury. I'm trying to remember his name.
Yeah, well, his dad is his primary trainer, and the guy from
Sugar
Hill.
I couldn't believe that. I was like, what the heck? This is basic boxing skills, man.
Right on.
I was
Emmanuel Stewart would have had him fight.
Yeah,
You know
fighting.
that.
You're fighting
Yeah.
the southpaw. Where's the right hands and the left hooks?
Yeah.
I was
None.
in camp with Adonis Stevenson,
Mm-hmm.
and
Wow.
was his head coach. And Sugar was doing their tactics was when you're as a southpaw,
Mm-hmm.
pushing Adonis to keep his lead foot on the inside
Yes. Yeah.
of his opponent. I'm like, I was always taught, and it only made sense to me. Your lead foot on the outside, so he can only hit you with one shot.
Yeah.
But
The cross.
And I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I could have
Exactly. I was going to say the same point.
played a huge part in. And I have a question for the panel.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the score? Was that close? Did you give?
I didn't think it was that close.
I agree. I don't think that close either. I think we're on the same page there. I don't think it's that close.
I think we may have a little bit of a dilemma on our hands.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, those scorecards were great.
Everybody, I never saw the fight, but everybody that I said, a lot of people said they still gave the fight to Tyson by 1 round or whatever. So I never saw it yet.
Yeah, I'll get to my
a one-sided ass whooping.
Yeah.
He beat him up.
I didn't.
He beat him up.
Well, hey, over to Rich. Yeah, over to Rich. What's your point?
Yeah, I said here on the Knockout TV show over the past couple of weeks, it was Tyson Fury's fight to lose from since it was signed. I was shocked that Usyk came in heavier than expected, and Fury came in lighter than expected. Yeah. If anything, I thought it would be the opposite. But every story that you read, if you read a book, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Yeah. And with all due respect to my idol, Steve Beaupre, I disagree with a lot of the opening rounds. I thought Fury was boxing beautifully, landing the jab at will. And I found that the first 3 or 4 rounds were impossible to score. Do you give it to Fury because of his ring generalship? He was moving around the ring. He was landing the jab on Usyk at will. But then Usyk would land 1 or 2 really violent blows that snapped Fury's head back.
That's the round.
So I'm thinking to myself, normally I'd give these rounds to the boxer, but when a guy lands haymakers like that, it's tough to score. But I could see somebody having it 2 rounds apiece or 3 rounds to 2 Fury or 3 rounds to 2 Usyk after 5, because Usyk didn't really press the action until the until like the later rounds. Fury was boxing, he was establishing his jab, and then we had a middle, and in the middle rounds, I thought Fury dominated. He was landing hellacious uppercuts that violently snapped Usyk's head back, and this is where I think Fury lost control of the fight. If you watch the middle rounds, Fury went, besides the uppercuts, he was landing hellacious body shots. And I've said this is well documented, and I've said it on the show numerous times. If Alexander Usyk has one Achilles heel, it's a body shot. He was knocked down early in his career from a body shot when he was in the Super 6 Cruiserweight tournament. He was hurt by Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua with body shots, so much so that he winced over in pain, noticeably in pain. And I'm not talking about Daniel Dubois' low blow. I'm talking about other body shots in the fight where you could see Usyk visibly keel over, wow, that hurt. Yeah. And he did mention to the referee on numerous occasions, that shot by Tyson was low. So he was feeling it. And then for some unexplainable reason, instead of maintaining a direct attack on the body, Fury was throwing hellacious shots to the jaw. And there are rumors that after the fight was over, Usyk spent the night at the hospital and he suffered a broken jaw. So we all know that the rematch is set for October 12th in Saudi Arabia, and the broken jaw reports haven't been confirmed. So I guess maybe Fury was going after the jaw. Maybe he suspected Usyk was hurt. But it just goes to show you how tough Usyk is, that he might have
Yep.
won the
Yep.
fight with a broken jaw in the middle
Mhm.
rounds. And then I thought, the end of the story was all Usyk. Obviously, he had Fury out on his feet in the ninth round, which with the straight left started things.
Yeah.
And for those who were saying the referee robbed uh, Usyk of a knockout victory,
No.
I completely disagree. This is for the
100%.
this is for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, the first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lennox Lewis in 1999. That's how long we've waited to have an undisputed champion. I thought the referee did a perfect job. He gave Fury the standing A count when he went flying into the corner.
Yeah.
And I think the bell pretty much saved Fury. Usyk
Mhm.
probably would have stopped him if there was about another minute left in the round.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
And then Usyk dominated rounds 10 or 11. I thought the 12th round was epic. Not quite as good as Larry Holmes and Ken Norton's round 15, but both men clearly sensed that whoever won round 12 was going to win the fight, and it was just an absolute brawl. I wish the whole fight was like round 12, but at the end of the day, you score boxing on a round by round system, and it's just weird. You could say the rounds Usyk dominated were clearly, the rounds Usyk won were clearly in more dominating fashion than the rounds in which Fury won. But that's not what boxing is all about. It's a 10-point must system, and if one guy wins a round close and another guy dominates a round,
It's
unless
still
he knocks
10-9.
him, unless he knocks him down, it's
Mhm.
still one round apiece.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
We had a
10-9.
2-point round there. We had 1 2-point round there.
yes, we did. We had one, and that saved Usyk the fight, because if you notice the scoring, two
Oh.
judges had to fight a draw 6 rounds apiece, and they both had Usyk winning, I believe, by a point. So if Usyk doesn't score that knockdown, the fight ends in a draw, and
Right,
boxing
right.
fans are raging here on social media. But for the record, I thought the fight was close. I had it 7 rounds to 5 for Usyk. So my final scorecard was 115-112 Usyk. But if you
Mm.
want to call it a draw, or if you want to say Tyson Fury won by a point, I'm not going to say it was a highway robbery at all. But, the thing is, if they do it again, Usyk pretty much fought the perfect fight, and it was still really, really competitive. I don't think he's going to do anything differently. Where if Fury looks at the tape, he's gonna like want to like shoot himself. He's going to say, "Why didn't I go to the body more? Usyk can't take a body shot. I should have brawled more instead of boxed." And you don't really know Tyson's Fury. The reason why I said it was Tyson Fury's fight to lose, and Kirk mentioned this early, when he was knocked down in the first fight against Deontay Wilder, I
Yeah.
could think of maybe only 2 heavyweights in boxing history that
Mhm.
would have gotten up from that shot. Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes.
Uh-huh.
Every other heavyweight would have been carried out on a stretcher. But
Yep.
that was several years ago when Tyson Fury was in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
Since then, he balloons up to 350 pounds in between fights. His mental illnesses, record is well documented. He was on drugs. He's a big time drinker. So I think the fact that his weight fluctuates between fights, he's a well documented party animal. This didn't bode well when you go into war with Usyk. Even though Usyk is a cruiserweight moving up in weight, you have to be in phenomenal shape when
Yeah.
you're in there against a guy like Usyk. It
Yeah.
sort of reminded me when I was watching the two in the ring before the bell sounded. It was eerily reminiscent of when Riddick Bowe fought Andrew Galata. I said to
Mm.
myself, "Wow, Riddick Bowe finally woke up and he's in the best shape of his life." And look what happened. Galata gave him a beating because even though Riddick Bowe physically was in shape, he wasn't quite the same after the 3 wars against Evander Holyfield. So I subscribe to the theory that the 3 wars against Deontay Wilder really took its toll on Fury, and just his out of the ring shenanigans didn't help either. And the fact that he's up there in age and the fluctuating weight, all this was a detriment to his performance. And I think he did himself a disservice waiting to fight Usyk. I think the earlier he fought Usyk in his career. If he had fought Usyk maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when his body was prime Tyson Fury,
Right.
I think he could have done a much better job.
Yeah, I could potentially, right? Because you're dealing with Usyk. Actually, Usyk is 37 years old, and Fury is actually 35 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah, so those are stats there, the age stats that is, and of course with the height factor. Excuse me, the height factor was 6'9" being of course Fury, and 6'3" being Usyk. So, but yeah, definitely Usyk definitely looked like the big guy really in the fight, really against the big guy. So that was pretty impressive, I thought. Overall,
against the puncher. Come on.
Yeah.
Who won?
Yeah.
I found that it was almost as if he was pot shotting. Like he was using his jab, and you felt that his jab was dominating. I thought he was poking his hands. He's poking his hands. Fine, I call it sand in the eyes. You're throwing sand in the blind.
Right up.
He then started throwing that shovel up, and then he wouldn't do anything.
Wouldn't finish it. He wouldn't finish it.
Because that hurt.
With a beautiful uppercut to the head.
Great point.
He didn't do it. If he had fought the man,
if
he had the mentality to fight the man and finish him, it may have been a different night.
Exactly.
I mean, even though his weight was down, really, was he in the type of shape that he was in when he fought Deontay Wilder the last time, or any of those times? Right? Maybe
not. You're right. He's not. He wasn't.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
absolutely.
So, like the prophet said, that type of conditioning, it means a lot. I mean, the type of preparation he did for Deontay Wilder looked a little different this time. I mean, he was so sure of the fight. At least when he trained for Wilder, he knew, and we all knew that if Wilder touched him on the chin, we knew something was going to happen. So he had to train super hard to, in case I get caught, hopefully I can rejuvenate real quick. You know what I'm saying? So this training camp here, he trained for the fight. He was in shape, but was he in that mad dog shape like when it was with Deontay Wilder? No. I don't want to blame it on his motivation, because I blame when he fought Ungana. What is it, Ungana?
Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. I blame that on motivation, even though he trained for the fight. He wasn't really motivated.
Didn't train for him.
He trained, like he ran miles, but guess what? Trust me, I'm a fighter. When you just don't have the real motivation, it just don't happen. Let me give you a quick example. A woman, we all heard this story. A woman lift up a car when her kid is underneath the car, right?
Yeah.
She can do it when the kid is underneath the car for real. But ask her to do it when the kid is not underneath the car. She can't do it for nothing, because the mind is not motivated or enticed to do it that way. So, but I bet you when Tyson do fight again, if they do the rematch, trust me, I will. It might be his last great fight, but trust me, this fight, he will look a lot better.
Yeah.
And he will do a lot better, just because he's going to remember the things he did not do. He's going to look at the fact that he could have did way more.
Yeah.
And he lost a close fight just because he didn't do more. I guarantee you this here time, he ain't even going to play with the press no more. He's going to not worry about the press, and he's going to come back for, how Tyson Fury do it, revenge.
Yeah. And he's not going to make that mistake. He's not going to make that mistake twice.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you guys, he's going to make it his business to throw more body shots in the
that uppercut.
And finish that uppercut, exactly. Finish those uppercuts, the hook right hand behind him.
And then you could have had the left hook in there, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's going to be so bad. Tyson Fury is going to get called for low blows a couple times in the next fight. I guarantee he's going to be so dedicated to the body. He's going to get called. He might even lose a point for low blows, not because he's thrown low blows, but because he's dedicated to the body. Trust me.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
And you know what? You can make a strong case. Usyk turned in a career-defining performance, and you could realistically say, no, if you want to say he's the world's best pound-for-pound fighter, jumping over Inoue and Crawford with that performance.
No, I'm not doing that.
You can say that, but not to, if you're Tyson Fury's team, not to sound like a sore loser. But if you're breaking it down from a logical point of view, you can say that Tyson Fury lost that fight more than Usyk won that fight because of his game plan. Even though
I agree with
Usyk,
that,
to
yeah.
his credit, did rally and score the knockdown and dominate the last 3 or 4 rounds, I kept on saying to myself, what in the world is Tyson Fury doing, especially in those, later rounds? And Usyk, to his credit, took advantage of Tyson Fury's horrific game plan.
For sure. I agree. He's not going there with the right mindset of going to finish at all. I totally agree with you with Tyson
We
Fury.
got 2 heavyweights here. You're going to use your weight, right? You're going to use your weight on them guys.
Your reach,
Absolutely.
right? Your height, your reach.
As a boxer, let me
So
say
Raymond was
this.
saying earlier about that. So
Tyson played a lot in this fight, didn't he? I heard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, the days that I put on my best performances inspiring, I was right on time and feeling great, in good shape. But the days that I never had the same energy, guess what I did? Kind of played a little more in the sparring. And when I played, that was time for me to get a little break. When Tyson put his hands behind his back and played, well, guess what he was trying to do?
Yeah.
Trying to get some rest. But you
recover.
notice that when he fought Deontay Wilder, he never did that. He never played as much because he didn't have to rest as much because he was right on target.
Yeah. And with Wilder, you always knew it'd be overhand right. The second punch, every combo would be, or the first punch, doesn't matter. It would be overhand right.
Yeah.
No,
So,
true
so
enough.
the bottom line is, I guess the way we're all talking right now, I think we're kind of talking like, not that we guarantee the victory, but we're probably leaning more towards this time Tyson will take the victory for real. Is everybody on that tape page right now?
Yeah,
Probably?
I think so. Yeah. But I agree. I don't think he went in with the best game plan, being Tyson Fury. Didn't think the best game plan going into this, and really didn't like even what Raymond was saying earlier, didn't really kind of give off those really commanding performances round by round. Show like I'm the champion.
The trainer didn't have. I think you know what? I think the trainer, and no disrespect to no trainers, right?
Yeah.
But okay, I love my training staff was great, but when we got ready to fight Klitschko, they underestimated him big time, saying that when you catch Klitschko with the first shot, he's going to quit. I knew Klitschko was never going to quit because this Chris Brady didn't quit. He was injured. But anyway, I don't think the training staff this time was ready for death. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I guarantee that the next fight, they'd be ready for death. But this time, they weren't doing a killer. Even when he was doing the pads the last day in front of the cameras, I saw the way they were doing it. It's like, kind of halfway.
This isn't enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of underestimating them.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. And you know what? At the end of the day, you could talk about what Team Fury didn't do, and you could talk about Usyk's flaws, but it was a great heavyweight title fight. Was it as aesthetically pleasing as the Thriller in Manila or Klitschko Joshua? No. But you know what? I thought it was a great fight, and I expected it to be less of a war than it was, and it turned out to be a great night for boxing fans. And all 3 judges, to their credit, turned in respectable scorecards. There was no shenanigans, and of course, at the end of the day, the right man won, which is always what we're nervous about. When the fight was over, I looked at my friend who I was watching the fight with, and I'm like, you know what? It's taken them a long time to turn in these scorecards. And I said, knowing boxing, they're going to make this fight a damn draw. And I'm going to go on the Knockout TV show on a profanity laced tirade. And then, of course,
how dare they? I hear you.
Yeah, then when the announcer said the final judge has a 114, 113, in the back of my mind, I kind of knew they were going to give it to Usyk because of the knockdown. But I was just glad no one said 114, 114. So the better man won. And let's just pray that, Usyk doesn't have the broken jaw, and that there was already a big announcement that they want to do the rematch October 12th in Saudi Arabia. Let's just hope that both fighters stay healthy in the interim and we get the rematch we deserve, and that the rematch is better than the first fight, which would be good, which would be phenomenal, because I thought yesterday was a great fight. 1 out of 10, I gave that fight a 9. It had ebb and flows, and I just loved every minute of watching that fight yesterday.
Yeah, right on. I do think the rematch would be way more exciting.
I think the fight was good for boxing.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
agree. Absolutely. Yeah.
People are
It was
needed-
close, but
I was reading some nonsense on Facebook how people are going off and saying how in heavyweight boxing because we have a cruiserweight as a champion. I'm just like, clearly you don't know. Clearly they don't understand boxing because at the end of the day, I thought this is a very good era. Any guy could be on top. You have Tyson, you have Joshua. Any guy can be on top. And Usyk, for that matter.
Back in the day, the heavyweights were like 180, 190.
Oh,
well, and you know what?
There you go. Or even better,
we don't even have to go back that far.
What do you call Evander Holyfield?
Thank you. I was
Exactly.
we don't have to go back that far. Evander Holyfield and Michael Moore.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Those guys. And those Michael Moore and Evander Holyfield were two of the most exciting guys in the heavyweight division. You remember when Michael Moore fought Burt Cooper? I mean, that was a great fight. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Absolutely.
Even Holyfield against Burt Cooper, one of the best heavyweight fights. And to dispel this notion that Usyk is a cruiserweight, the heavyweight division is a joke, you could say with a straight face that Evander Holyfield is one of the 12 greatest heavyweight champions of all time. If you take a look at his resume, he beat Tyson twice, he beat Michael Moore, he beat George Foreman, he beat Larry Holmes, although granted Larry Holmes was older and past his prime, and George Foreman was, the reincarnated version of George Foreman. You could make a strong argument that Evander Holyfield, who along with Usyk are the two best cruiserweight champions of all time, Evander Holyfield is one of the 12 or 15 greatest heavyweight champions of all time.
And you go to any list out there, he's always on the top 15 list.
I put him up a little higher because he is my favorite fighter, but and let's just say if you don't talk about the fact that George Foreman was old or a reincarnation and Larry Holmes was old, if you're talking names by itself, the names that Holyfield has on his resume, let's just say we all just say everybody was in their prime. Holyfield would be up there with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And all the world champs that Holyfield fought in his day, so he did the job. And one thing I tell you about the cruiserweights, they're smaller heavyweights, but they can do it all. They can move, they can throw a lot of punches, and they can recover. And that's what I was scared of Tyson Fury. I said Fury going to throw a couple of shots out there, but Usyk is going to keep his hands up tight, going to play good defense, and going to move and stay with Fury's way. Now, back to what you guys were saying that Tyson wasn't putting his weight on him. Well, guess what? When you got somebody that's moving as good as Usyk, it's hard to trap them and put your weight on them. I did that in the sparring with a couple of welterweights, Castile Clayton, and I was trying to trap him, and guess what? I couldn't trap him to put my weight on him because he was too fast moving around.
Styles make fights.
It's like, slow down, man.
So it makes it different on how you can grab a person. Now, Deontay Wilder, no disrespect to him, he's a great puncher, he's a great champion. He don't have footwork. So Tyson could grab him,
no footwork,
and maul him all over, right? But with Usyk's way better footwork, way better movement, and everything.
Oh, so by far.
It made a difference.
Yes, a huge difference. Angle changing and everything else. Yeah, definitely. Hey guys, leads my next question before we run out of time here. So, who is your favorite heavyweight boxer of all time? Kirk just gave us a little hint of his. Let's go over to Raymond.
Larry Holmes.
Big Raymond over there. First, we'll go back to Kirk.
Holyfield and Larry Holmes.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Yeah. Right on. Very good. Then Raymond, what's your top heavyweights of all time?
I love the Klitschko's.
Is that right, eh?
Yeah, the Klitschko's. A lot of people found them boring or efficient.
I did.
Yeah.
You found them boring?
I did too. Yeah,
not at all. I found they were technicians.
Technicians,
really?
Exactly.
I found very kind of basic boxing. Yeah, I found very basic boxing.
This is even before I ever fought them. People say, "Oh, Kirk, that'd be an easy fight." That was like 2 or 3 years before I ever fought them. I said I had nightmares. I said, none of those guys will be an easy fight. I said I fight them guys. I would have to be at my best and everything. Even though I wasn't. We had trouble in training camp, but anyway. I knew myself because I know boxing. I've been boxing since I was 10 years old, and I've been all over the world seeing the European style and all these other styles and the Cuban style, like they got sort of. And I knew that their style was a problem. to everybody. Wouldn't you say, Prophet? Wouldn't you say their style was a problem? Just by seeing
That's
the
exactly
Europeans and the Cubans
why
fighting
they
and the amateurs.
Yeah, the amateurs exactly. The amateurs are very successful.
That's why they dominated for a decade.
Thank you.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Both Klitschko brothers, they weren't aesthetically pleasing fighters, but they did what they had to do, and they used that European
Yeah, they
style,
won.
Yep.
and
They
they
won.
dominated.
Yeah,
Yep.
they sure did. They're winning.
And
That was the time.
and you had Vitaly with a K like 90 some odd %. So
Right. That's a
Well,
good point too.
no,
Now, see, I always mess up with this one. What one is Vitaly?
Vitaly
The
is
one
the
you
one
fought.
with the. Vitaly was the
Oh,
one
okay.
that. Yeah, Vitaly fought
The older
Lennox
one.
Lewis.
yes.
And,
Okay, that's the one I fought. Okay.
Yes, but Vladimir had the longer title reign because
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah. Yes.
Vitaly retired and went into politics.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right. Yeah.
And everybody said, "Well, Kirk, you can't remember which one." I said, "Yeah." All I say is I fought the older guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Exactly. Right
Yeah.
on, right on.
Did
Over to you.
Beaupre name his favorite heavyweight?
Yes, well, to go Steve right now. So, Steve, well, who is
All
your
right.
top heavyweight of all time?
Mine would be the top three would be Muhammad Ali, of course.
Oh, right on.
Or Larry Holmes. I think Larry Holmes did a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the last would be our guy Lennox Lewis. Come
Oh
on.
yeah.
Lennox.
See,
Oh, very
When I look
good.
back at
Yeah.
you got to
I
say
didn't-
5. Yeah.
when I look back at Lennox's fight career, I was like, oh my god, he fought a lot of good fighters.
Oh, he sure
Right?
did.
The last time I looked at it, I was like, oh my god, he fought. I didn't know he fought him, and then I was like, wow, he did fight. He had an amazing career. So I'd say he's in there for the third, for the
You
bronze.
see his style, the
Lennox
European
Lewis.
style, kind of with the hand out
Yep.
like that.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tyson. I forgot about Tyson. Yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah. Good
Don't
old
put
Mike
that.
Tyson. Yeah. Right
Mike
on.
Too many.
Tyson.
Yeah.
And what about Rich? Before we're on time, who's your top
Yeah,
heavyweight?
if we're talking about pound for pound, the three best heavyweights ever. Number 3 is open for debate, but I would say number 1 and number 2 are clearly Ali and Joe Louis would be 1 and 2 respectively. Or if you want to say Louis 1, Ali 2, of course. Number 3, you could put in a slew of guys. You could put in Rocky Marciano, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, Larry Holmes. There's a slew of guys. Ali is not only my favorite boxer of all time, he was my favorite athlete of all time. Growing up, it's just unfortunate I caught him at the end of his career. So I think I was like 10 years old when he lost to Leon Spinks, and then he avenged that loss. But
Right.
I watched all of his fights on tape back then. You had your VCR tapes. So I watched all 3 Norton fights and all 3 Frazier fights, and I just fell in love with boxing only because of Muhammad Ali. There's a reason why he was the greatest. His death affected me emotionally and what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever the problem.
Psychological.
It's just I really got choked up when I heard he passed away. He's my
Oh, for
favorite
sure.
athlete ever.
Yeah.
But
it was
arguably, but in terms of heavyweights I saw, growing up where I could appreciate it more, believe it or not, I was a big 80s guy. I think the 80s heavyweights all got a bad rap. When Larry Holmes was defending his title with an iron fist before he lost to Spinks and he made those 20 title defenses, they were like, oh, Larry Holmes had a bum of the month club. And I'm like, let me tell you something. In their respective primes, terrible Tim Witherspoon and Mike Hercules Weaver were pretty damn good heavyweights.
Yep.
And I think they could compete with anyone. And so my favorite heavyweight and my favorite athlete of all time is Ali. But in terms of the 80s, I just have a soft spot in my heart for all 80s fighters because that's when I first started watching boxing. Mike Weaver and Tim Witherspoon would probably be my 2 favorite heavyweights.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Good call there too. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Muhammad Ali growing up. Big fan of Muhammad Ali. Rocky Marciano was another great one to add to that list. Or Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson, another great one to add to that list. Iconic guy. Basically, he kind of paved the way for everybody else, essentially. And then they were looking, of course, right after that, you got Jack Dempsey. So you got a few other folks that add to that list.
Too bad the filming, the video wasn't good back then.
Sorry? Oh, no, true.
Video,
100%.
The video wasn't good back then.
Yeah, well put.
Yeah. Remember going to the venues? I was just thinking about that. I remember going to the venues and watching them at like a hockey rink.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Memory.
That's where
Muhammad Ali.
that's where I saw Sugar Ray Leonard against Hagler,
Yeah.
a closed circuit
Yeah.
TV at a
Yeah.
hockey ring.
Yeah, I did too.
Wow.
By the way, who do you give that victory to?
You know what? Every time I watch the fight, I still have the same score: 115, 113, Sugar Ray Leonard every
Okay.
time.
Very
Okay.
good. Wow.
Well,
Wow.
Ray was my man, but for some reason I gave it to Hagler the opposite way. But
Me too.
Ray's my idol. Ray is my number one
Ray,
fighter.
me too. I was.
I love Ray too.
I
Awesome
went for
fighter.
Ray too.
But that shows how good the fight was because of that. And can I ask the Prophet one more question?
Go for it quickly.
Whenever we talk about Ali, it's very because I do it all the time. Isn't it very hard to separate the civil stuff that he did, the civil rights stuff he did, and it's very hard to separate that?
Yeah, very. He's a public figure. What he did for the outside of the boxing is another.
And that was a
reason why
fight
I
too.
fell in
That
love
was a
with
different fight.
Yeah,
Exactly.
George
Yeah.
Foreman.
And the word I was looking for was
And a bigger
psychological.
fight.
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
George
guys, we're out
Foreman
of time.
the greatest
Go ahead,
fighter.
sir.
He's the greatest man.
Being.
He's the greatest entertainer.
Yeah.
I
Truly,
can't.
definitely.
I can't argue that. Like there wasn't a human being on God's green earth that did not know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was larger than life.
Totally.
Every professional athlete, irregardless of the sport, indebted to the man.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
he's the one who brought
And
the
you have
big.
And you have, you have old school fighters like Harry Greb and all these guys that fought like 300 times. And, boxing purists who are like up there in age will say they're the best fighters in the world. But as far as I'm concerned, the two best pound for pound fighters ever were probably Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson. If you're just asking me.
Yeah. If you
Just game-changing fighters, really, on every level.
Mine would have been the featherweight. He passed away there.
Salvador Sanchez?
Yes, Salvador Sanchez.
Oh yeah.
He never got.
I know, 23 years old when he died. Yeah.
So young. Yeah, so young.
What he could have done, could have.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So true. Yeah, so
But
true.
the show is too short. It's not enough.
Isn't it? It's way
Not
too
enough
short.
time. Yeah.
And on that note, we got to end it all. So thanks, guys.
Pleasure with you guys. You guys take care.
Absolutely.
I think Tank gonna win his next fight. I'm just saying that.
Sorry, was that again? Sorry, was it again?
Tank is gonna win his next fight.
All
That's
right.
what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Very good. Well said there. Well said.
Yeah. You guys take care.
Yes, thanks, Kirk. Mr. Chiron Johnson, Big Raymond over there, and of course Steve Beaupre over here. And in New York City, we got Richard Solomon, the Boxing Prophet. And thank you for watching. Thank you for watching as well. So remember, folks, check out Zingo TV for all the news. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. And hey, man, love it. See you guys real soon. Thank you.
Take care, my Canadian partner.
Bye.